So we got Trump and Zelensky definitely going at it on the most recent discussion that they were having to talk about peace. And I have seen people from both sides saying that Trump was rude and this and Trump. And I'm also seeing other people from other side saying that, oh, Trump just completely dominated Zelensky. And I think there's a few things in between that we can observe from this dialogue they try to have.
And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America. And for the good of the world, I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with.
He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over In 2 weeks.
In 3 days. I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
maybe
new.
Less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You know?
So one thing that we can definitely tell from Zelensky's side is there's a bit of an entitlement from the way that he was speaking. Because there's a part that Donald Trump mentions, oh, you wouldn't have been able to resist without the U.S. help. And that's obvious. But as a war strategy, you have to think that you cannot just on live television kill the morale of your troops, especially when you're defending your country. So Zelensky knows, he's like, I cannot say that you're right. I have to kind of work around it. And I think Trump, that's when he took it kind of personal. And that's what definitely bothered him. And I was say, hey, look, we have to negotiate something. But at the same time, Donald Trump is right. It's right that if you're trying to get two parties that hate each other to agree, there has to be compromise. There has to be compromise. But at the same time, Zelensky is concerned the long-term issue. Because Trump is only talking about, oh, they took advantage during Biden or Obama. But Trump, you're not going to be the president forever. So he needs to make sure that he can get a buffer zone or he has enough defense that way Ukraine will remain some kind of in-between neutral. But then they don't get invaded again because they lost Crimea. Now they lost 20%, 18% of the country. If they get invaded again, they're gonna keep losing more and more land, and that is definitely not a long-term strategy that Zelensky would like to see. But there could also be the language barrier as well, that he might not be able to deliver the message across. But at the same time, I think Donald Trump was being a bit rude and not letting the other guy speak. But I understand. I mean, you having a debate with someone, you say, hey, we need to find a way to peace, because it's either peace or we're gonna peace out and do whatever you want with it. And then when the other guy kind of pretends like if the U.S. help was not enough, that's when Trump kind of lost his shit, and that's what gave to Trump not letting him speak. But at the same time, hey, there has to be a mutual conversation. There has to be a mutual conversation. I think this is just maybe a temporary thing. They definitely have to do some renegotiations, and at the same time, there needs to be a peace treaty. Russia is gonna have the bodies to throw out the problem, and Ukraine does not have the amount of people. It's just that is the case, and we will see how this story develops. And of course, you're gonna see the partisan thing from the right and the left. Again, I'm not saying that I'm left wing, that I'm Mr. Center. No, I'm libertarian. I'm center right libertarian, but you have to sometimes go a little deeper on certain topics, and this definitely fits the case. And I will leave it as that.